Hello everyone, I'm John. Welcome back to my channel, Learn More Science with me. So today we're at Zoo de Barcelona, also known as the Barcelona Zoo. And with this, you might not really believe me. It's just like a bush. But if you tune into the video, you'll believe me. So let's get started. This way. Oh, come here, look, there's some ring-tailed lemurs. Now, the ring-tailed lemurs, they live in an island called Madagascar, which is off the east coast of Africa. And they have black and white tails, which look a bit like zebras. And they use those black and white tails to do sting fights where males compete for the females. And you can see he loves climbing. Ring-tailed lemurs and other lemurs love climbing. It's their main thing that they do. If you watch the episodes where I went to Chester Zoo, which is another zoo in the UK, you might have figured out that in one of the parts there was a talk about bamboo, but I'm just going to remind you again about bamboo. So bamboo is a plant and it mainly grows in China, which is eaten by the pandas, like the red panda and the giant panda, and it also grows in parts of Africa, like in Madagascar, where the golden bamboo lemurs eat the bamboo, and it's poisonous because inside bamboo there is a poison called cyanide, and it is very poisonous. But the golden bamboo lemurs and the red panda and the giant panda, they have special microbes in their stomach which helps them to digest that poisonous cyanide. That is so interesting. And scientists still haven't figured out the answer, but it is very interesting on how they can do it. And the native tribes, the Polynesians, which were Pacific tribes, they use bamboo for a very important reason. This is just a bamboo shoot, but if you see like these big pieces of bamboo, if you look at bigger ones like the ones in China, they actually cut them and use them as water bottles because the inside of a bamboo is hollow. You can see here it's like hollow in the inside. And so bamboo is very interesting. You might have seen it in one of the parts of Chester Zoo. You see this quickly. There's this black monkey that's on the top of that shoe. It's called a gibbon. And they are very big. This is just a baby, but they can get even bigger than this. And they make huge noises. They're like even louder than a howler monkeys. You can see they love swimming. They do like swimming, but they also like swinging as well. Mainly swinging. That's why they put up these like yellow wires that like vines for them, because they love swinging on vines in their rainforest in Africa. So guys, these are flamingos, and everyone wonders the question, why are flamingos pink? Well, that is actually a very good question. If you watch one of the parts in Chester Zoo, which is a zoo in the UK, you might have figured out that they have in their water bodies of their wetlands, they have these pink shrimp that they get. But when baby flamingos are born, they're white. But eventually, when you get these these foods, which are like these shrimps and this type of red algae, it actually gets the pigments into the babies, and that's what makes them pink. And they have very long legs because their nests are made in mud. So you can see their nests are made out of mud, and they also need to go through wet mud, and it can get very deep in those swamps, especially in the Everglades, which is one of the places they live in. It gets like very deep. It goes up to like here, so that's why they got very long legs. They're actually even longer than my legs. And they make some very weird noises. Almost sound like a penguin's one. So these are giraffes, and they live in the Sahara Desert and most parts of Africa. And they have very long necks, but they have the same amount of neck muscles. Can you guess how many? 7, but they're just stretched out a bit more. And they have black tongues, which are good, and they're very prehensile, so that they can get the acacia leaves, and they're very easy. And it's with the acacia leaves, the acacia trees, they are very, very spiky, but those tongues are spike proof. That's interesting. And they also use their necks to get to the high trees, because every herbivore has its level of leaves that they can have. So like zebras, so it comes from like the meerkats from the bottom areas, and then you get like the giraffes, which go up to the top bits of trees, and their tongues are very good at getting the acacia leaves. And they also use their necks for neck fighting, where males compete for the females. So these are camels. You can see one camel there. This is a back train one. There's also another type called the dromedary. So the dromedary has one hump, and the back train has 2 humps. Now, many people might say that the humps are used to store water. That's actually a myth. So we've cracked a myth, guys. Round of applause. It's actually used to hold the fat that they get from the food that they eat, and they can hold it for a long time. And they live in most parts of the Middle East and Africa. And they are very good in the deserts with their eyelashes. So like, you see my eyelashes here? They are much longer, because there are like these things called sandstorms inside deserts, which go like woo woo, which blows like sand into their eyes. But they got like 4 layers of eyelashes, and they are used to protect the camel from those sandstorms. So that's very interesting. And you can see down there that there's the male peacock. You can see down there. And yeah, camels are cool creatures, especially they are very good with adapting to their desert environments. But because of climate change, it's too hot for them, and many of them pass out. Wildebeest. So wildebeest, they have 2 horns, and they are very protective of their young. And they are herbivores, so they eat plants, and they are the main types of prey for the lions and for the cheetahs, actually. But for the cheetahs, it's most likely it's a gazelle, but they also eat wildebeest as well. Look at them. So zebra, they have black and white stripes. So they live in groups called herds, and when they're running away from predators such as the lion, what they do is like they run in a herd, and the black and white stripes look so confusing for the lions. They can't even think, oh, this is one of them. Where is it? It's in the crowd. Ah, this one, ow! And then it's a tail. And then this one, ow! It's a tooth. So it's very difficult for lions and other predators to get zebras, especially with their black and white stripes and their time being in a herd. A herd is a group of zebras, and they have very good hooves, which they use to dig into the sand to find food sometimes, because sometimes their food could be buried in the sand. And it's also used for not sliding on the sand. And they're also endangered because of climate change. Like what happened to one of the animals in this episode, we figured out that climate change actually, oh yeah, it was the elephants. So what happens is climate change dries up the water sources. Deserts, they're very hot places. So those small water bodies are like so precious. But with climate change, they dry them out. So zebras are classified as endangered.